So, good evening, everyone. Again, nice and lovely to see, and thank you for joining today. Again, as normal, we'll try to start with a short mindful breathing exercise, watching the breath mindfully for a few moments. Then we can try to generate positive motivations. For example, as long as our mind and life driven by those defilements, we can never find true inner peace, happiness. Our life and mind will be always bothered by something, always something wrong, problem, unhappy, disturbed. And therefore, in order to find true lasting inner peace, joy, happiness, we need to reduce those disturbing emotions and overcome them. And to reduce and overcome them, we need to engage in the practice meditations. By applying the Eightfold Path in our everyday life. and trying to live our life according to the principle of Eightfold Path. And for that, we need to be reminded of those practices for that very purpose and reason that why we have come here to listen. So we can be reminded, encouraged, inspired to apply, to integrate as much as possible. May us coming here together to listen, to reflect, contemplate. May all this become cause and condition to cultivate and fully develop the Eightfold Path within our mind stream and achieve fully awakened state, so we can be greatest help benefit to each and every sentient beings. Okay.
We'll start with our opening prayers. Praise the Shakyamuni Buddha. We'll do that 3 times in English. To the founder, who endowed and destroyed the one beyond the bliss of children, the completely perfected, fully awakened, cultivating knowledge and good conduct. Sugata, Lord of the way, supreme guide of the human beings to be attained. If there are gods and human beings, so you the company them fully awakened mind. They grapple to extend the destroyer. The Lord is conquered, the field of shut out of time. It may offerings to know for that each. The founder, the endowed and destroyer, the one who the fully destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, cultivating knowledge and good conduct, supreme guide of human beings to attain. Teacher of gods and human beings, the you the company name fully awakened one, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the glorious conqueror, the subdued and shattered flame. I prostrate make offerings to God for refuge. To the founder, the endowed transcendent destroyer, the one beyond, the full destroyer, the completely perfected, fully awakened being, cultivating knowledge. To God's Lord, the living God of human beings, eternal of gods and human beings, the you the complete and fully awakened one, the endowed and destroyed, the glorious conqueror, the subdued and shattered one. I prostrate make offerings and go for refuge. We'll do the short mandala offering once in English. This ground, anointed with perfume, spiritual flowers, adorned with gratitude, for I invite you to build an offering. May all beings enjoy this service. Eat on, and run and then we'll do refuge in bodhicitta once in English, twice in Tibetan. I go for refuge by the merit of time created to listen to the Dharma. May I become a Buddha in order to benefit all beings. Nam Yechu Chonam Sokit Chonam Ba Chanchu Bari Nam Ekam Suchi Dagi Choche Keper Sonam Yi Roma Pinjay Sanya Rupa Shuru Sange Sange Sandu Barita Japsuchi Yagi Treasure Give Sonaki Roma Pinjay Sanya Rupa 이제 그 얘기로는 나오는 게 보면서 담배수는 되는 거 부담돼서 차차. So we have just started a few weeks ago the series on Four Noble Truth, and we are on the fourth Noble Truth, which is the Noble Truth, the path, and and that is the Eightfold Path. And within the Eightfold Path, last week we discussed about the right speech. Yeah. So avoiding telling lie and engaging in the truthful speech, avoiding harsh speech and engaging in kind, gentle, loving speech, avoiding divisive speech, and trying to practice speech that bring more peace, harmonies, that brings not divide but bring together, and avoiding the meaningless idle gossips, and instead engaging in something meaningful, beneficial speech that help and benefit everyone. So that was the right speech. And next is right actions. Again, right actions is trying to live our life, more peaceful, gentle, kind, ethical, so trying to avoid, actions that hurt and harms other beings, such as taking the life of others, avoiding taking the lives of others, knowingly, intentionally, by understanding every life is precious, just as we regard our life precious and we try to protect our life. We try to protect our life so much because we regard it precious. So not only our life is precious, but understanding every life is precious, just like our life. On that basis, then we try to avoid intentionally knowing, trying to take life of others, from human beings to any animals, and then instead trying to protect and save the lives, whenever possible. So that kind of actions, the right actions, and also trying to avoid taking those that are not given to you. In other words, stealings, like things that do not belong to you and that are not given to you, taking that, and again,
avoiding the stealing, and instead, trying to practice generosity whenever possible and whenever, whenever you are able to do that and possible. Again, just as if someone steals our things, if someone take away our things without permit, without asking, we will be upset, disturbed. Same way, when we take someone's, by force or by cunning or by kind of whatever way, when we take someone's others things or objects, stealing, then it hurts the others, it harms the others, it disturbs other person's mind or other being's mind. It agitates them, it makes them upset and all of that, So through that, then we'll try to avoid such actions. And instead try to practice the opposite of that, Instead trying to practice giving and generosity whenever possible. And then also trying to avoid, engaging in sexual misconduct, by getting in a physical relationship with others' wife, husband, who have families, because again, if we find out, your partner is having some kind of physical relationship with others, then of course it will hurt you. It will make you very upset, angry. It will disturb the whole families. It will hurt the whole families. It creates a lot of tensions within your family and with others as well. So with that understanding, also we try to avoid any actions that will create such kind of tensions and disharmony, conflict within the other families. Because, when someone has such, when they are in such a relationship as a wife, husband, and that, then when you get involved in that kind of relation, then you destroy that relationship and that family and hurt. So to that understanding, then we try to avoid such what we call such sexual misconduct, and instead, trying to live more faithfully, So avoiding such harmful actions, and then instead trying to live your life in a positive or right actions that are opposite of those wrong actions. And through that, then we try to create peaceful, honorable life for ourselves, as well. We try to create conditions, better conditions, peaceful conditions for others as well. So, it is, whether it's human beings or animals, if you try to hurt and harm them, trying to take their life, trying to steal their food, for example, you upset the others, you hurt the others, harm the others. Also, you create conditions to receive harm yourself. If you try to hurt the animal, they will try to attack you. If you try to steal their food, they will try to attack you. And and that is same with human beings. So therefore, by not engaging in that, but instead helping, then we create, not only we are able to stop such conflict, harmful environment, where we create more peaceful, harmonious environment. And when you not only hurt others, but when you try to help them, you can live in a very peaceful, harmonious, not only among human beings, also with animals. Even the animals will feel safe to be in that environment around such people. They will feel safe, not scared, not fearful, and they will not try to hurt, harm, and so, so that is the right actions. And then third, the right livelihood. And in the right livelihood, you find in scriptures, sutras, wrong livelihood and right livelihood, and slightly different to monastic and lay community. In monastic, then they are like, flattering, hypocrisies, hinting like that in order to get some kind of gain, some kind of physical wealth, whether it's a food, whether it's a robe, whether it's other support, and in order to, with that intention to get it, you engage in certain actions, being hypocrisy, trying to be better than, trying to show to them, to impress them, so you can get something that you try to show them that you are more ethical than you are. You are trying to show you are more compassionate than you are. So that kind of action is wrong livelihood, and on the other hand, when you don't do that, it's right livelihood, and so sometimes through hinting, again, and sometimes by using your powers, flatterings, like that. So avoiding those kind of five wrong livelihood and engage in right livelihood. In terms of when it comes to the lay community, then it's different. So in some sutta, it talk about you try to avoid profession, for job or professions where you make living through such profession that harms other beings very much. So such as, professions in trading, human beings, like trafficking human beings, or a slave for other purpose, prostitute, what they're different, like people traffic and sell for different purpose, such is one of those. So trying to live, trying to make your living through such kind of business professions is the wrong livelihood. One. The other one is, by trading and making living through weapons, by producing weapons, by selling weapons. Because again, with such weapons, it takes others' life. It takes others' life, so you are providing a source for someone to take someone's life. So that is another wrong livelihood. Another livelihood, wrong livelihood that is explained, is engaging into the business or, professions of, like selling poisons, Again, through those poisons, again, it takes life of others, taking the life of others. And then the other one is, is a wrong livelihood if you try to make living professional job through, investing, starting business or engaging in such as, selling drugs, intoxicants that can destroy others' life. That can destroy others' life. So that is another wrong livelihood. And then one other wrong livelihood is when you try to make money or business or living through taking the life of others, like let's say starting a business of meat factories or killings, or if you kill as butcher, directly, or that even you don't kill yourself, you have that business, farm, whatever, farm the animals to be killed, for example. So those are described as a wrong livelihood for a lay practitioner, lay sangha, and trying to avoid such livelihood that harms others' life directly, indirectly, that takes others' life. Even it doesn't take others' life, it destroys others' life, such as, through drugs, by taking intoxicant drugs, or sometimes through alcohol and those things, it can destroy someone's life. And sometimes those can make others people's life like a hell, Sometimes it's much more painful than actually losing someone's life, because they go through so much pain and suffering through such by being in that having that problem with that. And so trying to avoid that kind of livelihood or living is and so when we avoid that and trying to make our living or livelihood to the other means that doesn't hurt and harm other sentient beings so much, that is right livelihood. And again, in some of things, maybe we might not be engaging directly, but we might be supporting indirectly, and those we try to minimize as much as possible. For example, let's say meat industry, okay? There's killing because there's market for that. If there's no market for that, those businesses will close. So there will be less killing, But as long as there's a market, then there's that. And so by us engaging in that, then indirectly, not directly, we don't have any intention of taking someone's life. There's no slightest of intention, but indirectly, we just contribute a little bit towards that. So if we can reduce those, that would be again great, to be able to if we don't have to eat them, wonderful. Even if you have to eat for some health issue, whatever, trying to have less, even we cannot stop completely for whatever reason, health reason, whatever reasons, at least maybe, we try to reduce them, not have too much. In that way, we contribute less towards that. We contribute less towards that. And that will be same with the war weapons. Even though we don't have any intention of killing someone's life, even though we don't actually go into war, taking the gun ourselves, but if we support certain policies that are going to war, we are contributing indirectly to some. If the government decides to go to war, and you support those policies, that how many people are being killed there? Thousands, hundred thousands. We have small contribution towards that. We have some contribution. So these are all, we have to be very careful. Buddha doesn't want any kind of war. He discourages any kind of war. No excuse for war. Hmm? And same things, even the poisonous things, again, we might not be using them directly, or we might not be investing, but again, we could indirectly contributing towards them something. And those all, we try to be more conscious, more careful, and try to reduce them as much as possible. Even in term investing, whether you are investing in the stock market or any business, to what kind of things that you invest also, do you not investing in something that produce weapons, produce poisonous, that produce meat industry that take the lives of others and so forth. So those are the things that we try to be more conscious, more mindful, and trying to live as much as possible where we don't contribute, not only directly, but even indirectly, where we contribute less towards the suffering of others, Instead, we try to invest, we try to encourage, we try to support, that support life, not that taking of life, but to, and so that is the right livelihood. Okay, so those three: right speech, right action, right livelihood, are part of the practice of moral, ethical practice. The practice of moral or ethical. Those all three are part of that practice, the training of moral and ethical practice. And such practice, the practice of moral discipline, it has been explained in this as dispensable, for the higher training and higher practices. This is the must, is the foundations for the other practices, the higher practices, such as shamatha, special insight, and other practices. If you don't have strong foundations, if you don't have strong and good foundation practice of moral and ethical discipline, then it is very hard to have a strong practice of shamatha and special insight. So that is very important foundational training and practice. So next, next set of from the Eightfold Path, then the right effort, right mindfulness, and right concentrations. They are part of the training in the magic concentration or shamatha or samadhi, training of that. The right effort, is for one, perseverance or effort or enthusiasm in virtues, not in non-virtues. You can have enthusiasm, you can have perseverance, you can have effort towards non-virtues. That will be wrong effort. Okay, that will be wrong effort. Right effort is that you put that effort of perseverance, diligent towards something positive, something wholesome, something virtuous. That's the right effort. Your effort is worthwhile. Your effort is meaningful. And also in that kind of effort, there's a sense of not only you put the perseverance and diligent in, but there is also kind of sense of delight, joyfulness in doing that. There's some kind of delight and joyfulness in engaging into something wholesome, engaging in something virtuous, engaging in something meaningful. That can help and benefit other sentient beings yourself. That can So in terms of the right effort, four kind of right effort. Okay. Right effort in making sure that the negative state of mind, the evil or bad or negative state of mind do not arise in your mind stream. Making that effort, joyous effort, to make sure that, harmful, negative, disturbing state of mind or emotions from arising within your mind stream. Because if you don't put effort in that, and if those disturbing emotion arises, then it disturbs your mind, and then also because of your mind is being disturbed, then also you are more likely to hurt and harm others. So in that way, it harm yourself and others. And whatever negative, disturbing emotions, whatever negative state of mind that is already arising, putting effort to get rid of them, putting the effort to get rid of them, to let them go. For example, maybe we might be upset with someone. We might have some upset and angry with someone due to certain cause conditions. And it is still there. And so we put effort to get rid of that. Instead of holding on that, we make effort to get rid of that. So not to hold on them, get rid of them, to let it go. And that is the right effort when you put effort to do that. No, you put the effort to get rid of that negative feelings, whether it's ill feeling, whether it's a resentment, whether it's a grudges, whether it's an anger, whether it is a strong, envy or jealousies, whether it is a, strong craving, strong desire, So again, even though it has already arises, but putting effort not to hold on them, but instead to get rid of them and to let them go. That's the right effort. And third effort is, those positive state of mind, virtuous state of mind, such as loving kindness, compassion, wisdom, so forth, making effort to cultivate those wholesome positive state of mind that is not already being cultivated is the right effort. Okay? Making effort. If we have not already cultivated true love, compassion, bodhicitta mind, the wisdom, patience, whatever those positive qualities, positive state of mind, the virtuous state of mind, the helpful state of mind, we put effort to generate, to cultivate those mind, virtuous mind that has not been cultivated. Putting effort in towards that is the right effort. And the fourth effort is like those virtuous, positive state of mind that we have already cultivated and generated. Maybe we might have small loving kindness, small feeling of loving kindness, compassion, wisdom, patience, whatever those positive state of mind, positive quality, making effort for those which we are already generated, cultivated, to develop further, to increase and to improve that further, from being small to bigger, stronger, broader, from making effort, from having compassion to few people to more people, making effort to feel compassion from having to some animal to all more animals, and more beings, for example. So just to give one example, so that is the applying the effort, perseverance in order to improvement, in order to development, in order to growth of those positive, wholesome state of mind that has already been generated, but that need to be improved more, develop more, increase more, until there's no more to develop, there's no more to cultivate, improve. So that is the right effort. Okay. Then next is the right mindfulness. So right mindfulness is improving, your awareness, your mindfulness, your attentiveness, your concentrations, your alertness, mm. So in terms of the mindfulness, then there's training, practice to improve your mindfulness, in relation to your body, in relation to your feelings, in relation to your mind, and in relation to all others phenomena. So the mindfulness of the body, mindfulness of the feelings, the mindfulness of the consciousness, the mind, and the mindfulness of the rest of the phenomena, the Dhamma, and when it comes, and of course, when you're training, then you start with training on mindfulness on body, and within that, then there are many different practices, training, many different training in that mindfulness. One of the most common, one of the most well-known is mindfulness on breath. Breath, which is part of our everyday experience, our body, breathing in and out of our body, so through by focusing on the breath, you try to improve your mindfulness. And that is so being mindful of, training your mindfulness, just simply watching mindfully as you breathe in and out and being aware of that, the natural. And again, being aware, sometimes we have more deeper breath, sometimes shorter breath, sometimes harder breath, whatever. We don't try to create that, but whatever's happened with the breath, we just try to be more aware, mindful and aware of that with the breath. And then, also part of mindfulness with the body, another practice, another training, another meditation is, scanning the body, from the crown to the toe. You go through scanning with your mind, your head, the skull, and the brain inside the skull, and then going through each by eyes, nose, ears, your mouth, and inside all the bones, the flesh, the muscles, the veins, the blood, whatever, so you scan from very top, slowly, very slowly scanning with your mind, scanning from head and then shoulders and your upper part of the body and all the organ inside, and then going slowly, scanning the body slowly, just simply just watching, being mindful, what is there, outside, inside. That is another training, another part of training, part of the mindfulness with your body is scanning that, And then also part of that training, in that mindfulness training, not only you scan your body and then, and being aware and mindful and aware of everything within your bodies, also as we scan, being mindful and aware of whatever sensation that might be happening in our body, Sometimes your body might feel tense. Being mindful of that, aware of that. Sometimes your body might feel very relaxed. Being mindful and aware of that. Sometimes you might feel some kind of pain, maybe in your knee or maybe back or anywhere. Sometimes you might feel that, and being mindful and aware of that. Sometimes you might feel, warmth in your body or any part of the body. Being mindful and aware of that. Sometimes you might feel kind of not warm, but maybe coldness, cold in your body, So different sensation, physical sensation that might be happening in that moment, Being just mindful and aware of that. So through such practice, then one is trying to improve your ability of your mindfulness and your awareness, At the moment, a lot of time, in this very moment, a lot of things are happening in our body, even on sensational level, but we are not aware of that. We are not mindful and aware of that. So is when someone engages in such practice and with the time, and if they really do that, then then they will be their mind will become very sharp. Their mind will become very sharp. They will be able to be mindful and aware, even small changes in your body, sensations, feelings, bodily sensations, Then, as you increase the object of your mindfulness while you are doing same, the method is same. The method is same, just trying to be mindful and not have other thoughts, but just, mindful whatever is happening, just keep mindful and aware, and then slowly so you increase expand the object of your mindfulness. As I said, starting with the body, breath, and then the body's scannings, then the sensations within your bodies, the different sensations that could happen. And if there's no sensations, also that is just fine. You don't have to produce sensations to be mindful. Basically, whatever's happening, just be mindful of that. If there's no sensation, just be mindful that there are no sensations and aware of that. If there is some sensation, warm, feeling cold, whatever sensation, being aware, mindful and aware of that. Basically, whatever's happening in your body, So, and especially one of the practice, that described is, especially scanning all the impure substances in our body. In some of the scriptures, they describe about 32. This is just an example. It could be, like Sutra, Shamdeva, Nagarjuna. And one of the purpose of doing that practice is so that we don't get attached to the body. So we don't get attached to the body. at the moment, we only see the outside, But through such meditations, scanning what is inside and looking inside, it's like, in an operation theater, you are opening the body and seeing everything what is there. The whole body is open. When that body is open, and when you see everything that is inside, do you think you will get attached to that body at that moment? No. Probably we might not even be able to look at it. We might not be even have the courage to be able to look inside it unless you have been trained, some way. So if you see everything that is inside, then just like open in the laboratories, in the operation theaters, the whole body is open and you are looking everything that is inside. Similarly, that meditations, scanning your body from the top, not just the outside, but inside each of them. And just like that, in that operation theater, you are looking everything inside. And when you look everything inside, so it is a way to, is one of the practice, one of the meditations, one of the meditation technique to let go of attachment to the body. So it is explained, one of the cause for the sufferings is, even though this samsaric body is full of impurity, a lot of impure substances, but we don't see that, and we only see something attractive, positive, and therefore we get attached to that. And due to that attachment, then many others suffering arises. Due to that attachment, many other suffering arises. But when you are able to see when through such meditation and practice, you are able to see the impure substances that is within the body, then you wouldn't have the same attachment that you felt before. And without that attachment, then many other suffering that comes because of that attachment will stop, and so. And also there are many other, some meditations related, again, scanning and just looking at the skeleton of the body, And even with that, meditating on the skeleton of the body, also there are many kind of different meditation that you find in, Abhidharma and other teachings, and again, like when you see the X-rays of the body, just the bones, just the skeleton, the bones of the. Again, I don't think we will be so attached to that, If you just see the scan of that body and all the bones, that again, same thing. The meditations is to really, again, scanning, like just like the scanning, just like CT scanning of your mind. You scan your whole body and just see that man, and then again it. So anyway, so that is the mindfulness. There are many different meditation practice in relation to the body, mindfulness of the body. Okay, mindfulness of the body. There are many different meditations. You all, at the very beginning, you start the breath, but then you expand the object of your mindfulness of the body, not just the breath, but then as I mentioned before, scanning the bodies, and also expanding to be mindful and aware of the different sensations that one have on physical levels, all of that. So that is then in relation to the mindfulness with the feelings, you try to practice mindfulness, being mindful of different feeling that arises in our mind. Sometimes pleasant, nice feelings, not just the physical level, but on mental level, sometimes we feel very joyful, very happy, very uplifting, very excited, those kind of pleasant feelings. Sometimes we have unpleasant feeling, depression, feeling of depression, feeling very low, feeling very disturbed, unhappy, So again, unpleasant feelings and sometimes we have more neutral feelings. Neither we are very happy, joyful, neither we are very sad, pain, but just neutral, almost like feel like almost like no feeling, but it's a neutral feelings, Because normally when we say feeling, it seems like it has to be either exciting, pleasant, or unexciting, unpleasant. But it can be neutral feelings. And that is when we feel like, oh, you have no feeling, But there is a feeling, it's more neutral feelings. So again, being mindful, again, it's not like we're trying to create some kind of pleasant feeling, unpleasant neutral. We're not trying to create anything. Just when you are meditating, when you are trying to practice, different feelings arises at different time. And whatever feeling arises, just be mindful of that, aware of that, identifying that. Oh, it is what is it? Oh, there's that, joyful feelings. Just being mindful and aware. Oh, there's a kind of painful feelings. Those painful feelings. Being mindful and aware. Oh, no, that's just neutral feelings. Being mindful and aware of that. And then also, trying to be mindful how those feelings arises, appear, and how those feelings disappears. Those feelings comes and goes. It appears and disappears. It arises and it disintegrates. So again, just being very watchful, very alert and mindful of how those feelings are appearing, how the feelings are arising, and then what those feelings are, pleasant, unpleasant, whatever that feeling is, being mindful, identifying and being aware of that, and also sometimes also being aware, mindful and aware of the result of such feelings, So when you have a very, let's say, joyful feeling, happy feeling, excited feeling, how do you feel physically? Because sometimes those feelings can make your physical react in a certain way. On the other hand, when you have feeling of, unpleasant, painful, suffering, disturbing feelings, how does it affect? What is the result of that on mental level, on physical level? How do you feel? Sometimes physically you might feel very uptight, instead of being relaxed. That's the effect of such feelings. On physical level, you can feel it effect, and definitely on emotional, mental level. And again, simply just being mindful and aware of that. When we are able to do that, and when you are good at that, and then you really begin to understand with your own experience why those feelings, what are the cause and conditions that give rise to such feelings. You will be able to understand with your own experience, the cause conditions that give rise to this pleasant feeling, unpleasant feelings, neutral feelings, and the different result or consequence of such different feelings. And when we are more mindful and aware of those different feelings, how it appear and disappear very quickly. Each of those different feelings, how it appear and disappear very quickly, how it arise and disintegrate or disappear so quickly. Then you begin to understand the impermanent nature of those feelings. Sometimes for us, it is hard to notice impermanent nature of those feelings because at the moment we have one feeling, and because we hold on those feelings for a long time, with different thoughts, with different minds, and we hold. So it feels like that feeling has been there for a long time. But if we really, with mindfulness, if you really watch it, each of those feelings are not same. To us, it looked like it's same feeling because it's the continuity of that, but it's not same feeling. One feeling, one moment of feeling lead to the next moment of feeling. Next moment of feeling lead to the next moment, and each of those moments are different. Do you get it? And therefore, for us at the moment, because we don't realize how each moment one feeling appear and disappear, and the next another feeling, similar feeling, or similar feeling arise and disappear. And next moment, another feeling, similar feeling. And so because there is continuity of that, of similar feeling, it feels like it is this one same feeling. Therefore, for us, it feels like it's a permanent. I had that feeling as today. I had that feeling for 1 week. I had that feeling for 1 month. I had that feeling for 1 year. I had that feeling for 10 years. I'm having that feeling for 20 years. Seems like it's the same feeling, unchanging feeling. That is what permanent, grasping of permanent. We grasp like permanence in that way. But if we really analyze with that mindfulness, then you realize, whether it's pleasant feeling, unpleasant feeling, it's momentary, it appear and disappear. And then next, another moment of feeling, similar feeling, appear and disappear. And next, another similar feeling appear and disappear. So when you realize that, when you recognize that through your own observations, mindful and awareness, then you recognize each of those feelings. are impermanent in their nature, impermanent, ever-changing, non-story. And when you realize impermanent, then you wouldn't have strong grasping to the pleasant feeling, because you see that as very fleeting, very fleeting, non-story, momentary. So you have less stronger attachment or grasping to that feelings. On the other hand, when you have a negative feeling, when you understand it's a momentary, it's ever-changing, non-story, each of those feelings are not same, it's just another moment, each of them passing moment by moment, then you don't have a strong aversions towards that feeling. You don't have a strong aversion, even if it's unpleasant feeling. You don't have a strong aversion because you know that feeling that you are having aversion is already gone. So then through that understand the nature of the feeling, impermanent nature of the feeling, then through the understanding of impermanent nature, transitory impermanent nature of the feeling, then you have less stronger attachment to the pleasant happiness or pleasant feeling, joyful feeling, and you have less stronger aversion and dislike towards unpleasant feelings. And so then the meditation or mindfulness of the mindfulness of feeling is to have a understanding of impermanent and transitory nature of the feelings, and through that understanding, then it acts as an antidote towards the grasping of permanent, grasping the feeling to be permanent, and on the basis of that, then the attachment and aversions arising, and so through that again we can kind of have less and reduce that. So I think today maybe I will have I will stop here, so I can take a couple of questions if there's any questions. Yes, please, Jenny.
So the feeling, especially I think a negative feeling, just feels like a long stream, and I think identifying it and trying to experience it as something that is actually breaking, that it's the negative feeling comes up, but then it dissipates. But when the next negative feeling comes up, it seems like it's an extension of the first. How do you experience that as something that is breaking and that isn't, a long, extensive experience to be moaned about?
Well, at the moment our understanding is more intellectual.
Yeah.
But when you really pay enough attention in that mindfulness meditation, really paying spending deep time, deep enough really to be mindful and recognize that, then you really see it's just not intellectual, but with experience you are seeing each of those moments of even negative feeling. They are momentary, you see them appearing momentarily, appearing, disappearing moment by moment. And so once you see that, then there is no object to hold very strongly to feel bad about it, so then you don't have a strong aversion towards that. So from understanding theoretically to the experience of the we have to give enough time to really deeply contemplate with mindfulness to see that momentary transitory nature of that feelings. And it is very different when you have intellectual understanding and experiential understanding. intellectual understanding does not have same effect when you have an experiential understanding through deeper practice meditations. Yes, please.
You've covered so much territory tonight. At first I had a million questions, but now I'm so curious about a Buddhist community where people have right work and right thinking and effort and all of that. It must be so loving and peaceful. Is that true?
Not necessarily. The teachings are wonderful, and to be able to live, if everyone live according to the Eightfold Path, if everyone live according to what Buddha teach, definitely, absolutely, it would be wonderful place to be and community to be. But people are trying, but not everyone is successful. People are trying to be more mindful, but not everyone's being able to be mindful. Everyone's trying to be more conscious with their right speech, but sometimes they are not unable to be. They are trying to be more kind, compassion, but it's not easy. It takes a lot of effort. It takes time. And so sometimes people are unable to give time to practice. And so, so just because it's a community of the Buddhists, it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be wonderful. If everyone is a good practitioner, then that would be. But again, not everyone has reached that point.
Do they have any prisons in the Buddhist community?
Yeah.
They do?
Yeah. In Tibet, there is prison. I'm sure in Bhutan there is prison. But one thing I do say, and which I can say to some degree, in generally speaking, even though there is conflict, even though there is sometimes clashes of ego, clashes of personalities, clashes of view, ideas, but I think in generally, in most cases, because of the teaching they have been hearing so much, and some of them not only heard it, they have been practicing. Some of them, maybe they have been hearing, but maybe they don't practice so much. They have the knowledge, but maybe not much transformation because not really putting so much effort in practice itself. And then there's others who really put effort in practice and who have made positive changes. Maybe they are not perfect. They still have their weakness, their own fault, but they have improved compared to many years ago. So that is something positive. But still, because they are not perfect, and then other ones not perfect, sometimes they have that problems. But I think in general, people doesn't hold for a long time. They will be able to kind of let it go and not to hold and not trying to destroy the others. In others, when you don't have the teachings and practice, then when you have that kind of conflict, then the other person get to destroy the other persons, because of so much negative feeling. So that kind of thing doesn't happen, so much. Of course, one, two individual can happen in a way. Even in a big monasteries, the teachers, the disciplinary, they always says, because these big monasteries are like 5,000, 4,000, 6,000 monks, and they say this is like a oceans. In the ocean, you find all kind of things, good and bad. So they says, there will be garbage here, individuals, monks who create a lot of problems, and again, for different reasons. For example, even as a monks, a lot of them are not by their choice, they have been forced to go there. And as a young monks, and some of them, even as elder, some of them maybe even they would not want to be there, but they have pressure from their parent. The parent wanted them to see being in monastery, so they have pressure to be there. I had one friend, younger friend. He spoke to his father about disrobing, and his father vomited blood in just that. And he was so scared. He was so scared that if he disrobed, his father could die from that. So not wanting to hurt the parent, not wanting to disappoint them sometimes, even though they don't want to be there, they are not happy that they just choose to be there, for example. So, and so there are different reasons, so sometimes they have their problem, they don't have that, not perfect.
There are two questions on Zoom. Karen's first.
Please keep it short.
Right. Okay. So your comment about scanning from the top to the bottom and looking at all the different aspects of the body so that you can become sort of detached. I've heard that before with other teachings, and it's always bothered me a bit. And I was wondering if you wouldn't agree that the time has come to revise certain aspects of that, simply because when it was first when it first came up thousands of years ago, there wasn't medicine and science were in their infancy. And by and large, the general public certainly did not look at these things with any curiosity. They looked at it with revulsion and fear and superstition. And as the years progressed to where we are now, we can lie on one side in the hospital and get a sigmoidoscopy, which is a colon camera, and sit there and watch as the camera goes into your body and up your body. And, we're raised, at least Americans in the West, probably since the 1950s, I guess, to be curious about these things. We're educated about science and the body and the heart. And, in biology class in high school, they bring out a little model of the heart and they take it apart and you get to see that, and the uterus and the brain and all these other models. So that kind of fear and revulsion doesn't really exist anymore. There's a lot of curiosity instead. And it's that very curiosity for centuries that's driven understanding and research and the quest for knowledge. So it's always bothered me that to frame the body in a with revulsion. There must be other ways to approach attachment in the 23rd, 2023 than positioning it that way, given everything that's developed over 2,000 years. It just kind of falls flat for me.
Yeah, okay. First of all, if this meditation doesn't help you, you don't have to do it.
I knew you'd say that.
It's simple as that.
Oh, come on, that's a
For
dog.
some people, it helps. For me, it helps. If I think of body, when I see a body of dead animals crash there, and when I see everything from inside, I feel compassion. I don't feel attachment to that. But if I see same body not being crashed and inside not coming there, and very nice looking bird or deer, whatever, I could get attached to that just because of that. So therefore, it doesn't stop. That meditation doesn't stop from being curiosity. It doesn't stop from all of that. It is not to create a fear, even fear. It's not to create any fear. It's not to stop any curiosity. It is just simply scanning your body. And through that kind of scanning, just like in, as I said, Operation Theater, if it helps to let go of your attachment, it's fine. If for someone having done that, in that moment, if they cannot let go of their attachment, it doesn't help them to overcome their attachment, then you don't have to do it. It's not effective for you. If it's not effective to you, then different meditation, different practices are effective with certain individuals and certain not in. That doesn't mean it's not something, you should get rid of that or have to change it. A lot of things, something which is powerful, beneficial, helpful for someone, it might not be. And so if something is not powerful and beneficial for them, they don't have to do it. And again, of course, in terms of letting go of attachment to body, it is not only the technique. This is one of the techniques that is taught, and that has been helpful for a lot of meditator practitioners, even in this time. But again, of course, you can meditate on impermanent nature of the body. You can meditate on emptiness nature of the body. And there are many meditations, and whatever works for you, you do that. And if it doesn't work for you, you just don't have to bother about that. It helps someone else. And if you help someone else, that's good.
Last question from Alexia.
Okay.
Is there a relationship between right effort, right energy, and being a child of illusion? Child of illusion.
What is that? Child of illusion.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Alexi, would you like to add something to that?
Child evolutions. I don't even know the word.
Child of illusion.
Child of
Illusion.
illusions.
Can you repeat the question?
Is there what connection between the
Alexia said that he's getting the phrase from an interpretation of the Lam Rim.
okay. Child of the illusions.
So I'll reread the question. It says, is there a relationship between right effort, right energy, and being a child of illusion?
I don't know. I mean, definitely you can say there's a relation between the right effort and right energies, even I don't know, even that could be two different translations. Could be same thing, which could be slightly different, putting, where you put the energy, where you put the effort, If you put the effort towards something virtuous, then that is the right effort. If you put the energy towards something virtuous, that becomes the right energy. If you put the effort and your energy towards something negative, then that becomes the wrong energy and wrong effort. So I can see those can be connections, but still I couldn't just figure out and make out exactly what childhood illusions means. And I'm trying to kind of translate that in Tibetan and trying to see if I can find a word in Tibetan, but I'm finding it difficult with that.
So illusions are things that are not true. Is that
Yeah.
is understood by everyone? Is that what everyone thinks about illusions?
Yeah.
Things that aren't true.
Child of
So
illusions
being a child of illusions,
is not real child.
yeah, I don't know, how you.
Yeah, so that I don't see that how that related with the right
I don't-
effort and energy.
Sounds like it's from a book, the text he has, it's from the sixth slogan in the book he's using.
Okay. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I think unfortunately I couldn't I still couldn't make sense of that. So I'm very sorry for that. So I don't have the answer for that at the moment.
Okay.
Okay. So we'll do the dedications.
Okay, so for obstacles. Jessica, Moses H, Liam and sister. Juliana H, Allie P. Orgia F, Robin W, Rolf, Andrea. Victims in Morocco. John Margaret. Regina L, Mary J, Alyssa and Laura. And for people who are sick, Rolf, Elena P, Hillary V, Gerardo S, Rick M, John, Jim B, Francine G, Harry Bird, Kelly Handler, Linda W, Patty, Evan Martinez, Tony, Suzanne, and in death, Bill Richardson, Norm, flood victims in Libya, Morocco victims, Jay Bunker, David L, and CH.
Okay.
Now for the dedication prayers. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions
May I quickly attain the state of Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the pure bodhicitta that has not arised in arising world, and may that which has arisen not diminish, but increase more and more.
and the long life prayers for His Holiness the Dalai Lama. The wish
Souls everything of and happiness in this world. Will incomparable and yards of village. May all your holy ships be found and be fulfilled.
and also Hito, the reincarnation of Lama Yeshe. Venerable One,
She looks and succeeds of them all. For those who wanders in the heart of places, especially the lands. Mindful and loving concern for us, intentionally again again. Into a family of fathers and land.
we
May
make
we be with us.
O Lama, please, and a prayer for the swift return of Lama Zopa Rinpoche by His Holiness the 14th Dalai Lama Tenzin Gyatso. Peerless teacher,
Before its Lord and Father and Son, along with the village masters, all the objects of refuge on Indian lands, His peaceful and virtuous and foundation is prayer here now. For the even spreading them which treasures and complete great lady in the ranks, the world and our patience, as I never discovered, incomparable to you my make friends. Simple for the sake of people with teachings. And so only a way to prove with all benefit and happiness to merge. So that I may depart into the peace, what a great loss. Nevertheless, with that unfitting truth of blessings with watching of the very rules. The great way of holding Jesus of the children of the older ones. Make the smile of reincarnation previously of torturous. Thank you very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you very
Thank you, everyone, for Zoom, everyone here. Good night. Thank you.
Thank you, Geshe.